Hello and welcome to the Enterprise Talk Conversation Series, a peer knowledge resource by the CXOs for the CXOs. Now to our host, Kanika Goswami.
Hi, we welcome you to our podcast On Stage with Enterprise Thought Leaders. My name is Kanika. I'm the managing editor of On.media's B2B enterprise technology publications. We have engaging conversations with global thought leaders and industry experts with a reach of 1.3 million business leaders worldwide. CRM technology is sharper than ever before. What tools are lending it the edge? And what is the future of the MarTech stack for customer relationship management? Today, we speak with Carson Hostetter. He's the EVP and General Manager, AI and Customer Experience at RingCentral. Welcome to our podcast, Carson. It's great to have you here today.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate the invitation and the opportunity.
It's a pleasure. I'm sure we're going to be having some very interesting conversations today. A little bit of introduction about Carlson. He is responsible for developing and implementing the company's AI and CX strategy, brings over 25 years of industry experience to this newly created role, which is focused on delivering tangible ROI for customers. A 9-year RingCentral veteran, Hostetter previously served as a chief revenue officer, leading the company's global sales, channel, and service organizations. So you know what it is about customers more than anybody sitting on a desk would. You've been out there doing it.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea, right? And one of the things about RingCentral is we are very, very strong on innovation, but I would always call it practical innovation.
Right.
Meaning stuff that sells, right? We're not exactly the moonshot company. We are about innovating for our 400,000 plus customers and growing, and delivering that value to them. And so when we saw this, let's call it an inflection point, transformation point, whatever vernacular you want to use, we were looking at, okay, this is going to be a huge technology change, but this is going to change the way our customers interact with the world, which is what RingCentral's job is to help our customers interact with their customers. That's a huge part of our business. Like a lot of people call it customer experience, like those types of things. And how is that going to be powered by AI? And how is that going to bring real tangible benefits to our customers? And we have customers from one employee all the way up to hundreds of thousands of employees, right? And so because we play across the board, one of the core strengths of RingCentral is making things simple, right? Whether it's for a very large enterprise or just a mom and pop shop that's opening their first small business. Like, we like to bring that level of technology to all of our customers, make it really simple, easy to use, and make sure they get the benefit. So with all the experience on go-to-market and sales and building the revenue business of RingCentral over the last 9 years, I think that's a perfect transition into like, how do we make this stuff work and grow it and really drive our business in that next direction?
That's good to know. So my first question was going to be very generic. If you'd like, I can probably modify it, but let me just go ahead with the original one first. What do you think is the newest trend for smarter CRMs? We're talking about AI here. Would you like to go beyond AI, or you think AI is the top right now?
Look, I think every business, including CRM providers like Salesforce and HubSpot, who are both RingCentral partners, and we actually run natively in Salesforce. We just announced that integration in, I think, right before our last earnings, so early May. And when you look at what the CRM folks are doing, I mean, they're trying to help customers prepare for AI, and you see things like Agentforce and the focus from Salesforce, the largest CRM out there. What we think of it at RingCentral, like, how can we help, right? How can we help, not necessarily the CRM providers, help our customers? Back to my earlier statement. All of our customers have a CRM. Even small businesses have some type of database, something that they're doing. But what actions can you do from that? How can those businesses support their customers? You have data, great. How do you activate that data on behalf of your customer or your business. So, for example, with our integration, customers can be right in their CRM instance. We can, as customers contact those businesses, pull up any information that's in that CRM and serve it up to the person talking to that customer real time. And so it provides a more tailored experience, that opportunity to provide a tailored experience. And what AI can do, we can actually front end that CRM with an AI agent if we want to. Like when somebody calls into your business, we can have our AI receptionist. I like to refer to it as AIR, but our AI receptionist can answer that call. And using data about that business or data from a CRM or other data sources, be able to service that customer. And if that customer needs additional information, we're able to now, with the knowledge that we have in the CRM, plus the knowledge we may have gained on the AI phone call itself, transfer that to the right person. And then we're able to assist that person in serving that customer. Again, by thinking about an analytics layer on top of the CRM, or just the basic integration of when that either call or digital interaction, text, think social media, Facebook Messenger, anything in, like correlating that to other records in the account, again, to provide that service. So it's kind of not about like, what is the database of record? Where is the information stored? It's how do we use that information to provide better service? Another application, right, is being proactive, right? You can start looking at things that are in our a CRM, both on the sales, service, marketing side, and using AI, you can now start to understand where you have opportunities with those customers. And then we can automatically, either via an AI agent or enabling assisted humans to reach out to those customers and maybe provide offers that could be beneficial to those customers and grow your business. You can look at it the kind of on the prevent the negative side, customers that may be having support issues or maybe haven't transacted in a while, and make sure that there's a tailored outreach to those customers. Again, through any mode, any medium that is effective for that business, whether it's a direct live interaction with a person, it's passive in terms of delivering stuff just as simple as emails, or again, even automated AI agents being able to reach out to your customers.
Right. So we just heard about this native integration of RingCentral's native integration with Salesforce. I think that was the release that we got. What exactly would you like to tell us a little bit about it? What exactly would it deliver to the CMOs? What's the advantage that they'll get by this integration?
Yeah, I covered some of that in the previous,
Yes,
but
in the
just
first
think
class.
about it. Yeah, just think about it this way. So the use cases I think I covered, but
Yeah.
specifically on that integration, um, it's if I am an agent running on RingCX, which is RingCentral's contact center as a service platform, I can now it's essentially native
Yeah.
inside of Salesforce. What does that mean? Like agents spend time in Sales Cloud and Service Cloud and Salesforce platform, kind of all the live long day, all of that CRM data that you were talking about, you've got access to that underneath that layer. They do not have to switch back and forth between the two systems. They can stay in Salesforce and get the power and functionality of RingCX. So what does that do? That makes sure you have a more seamless integration so that the agent is more effective, more efficient, actually more comfortable. Global employment, big challenge, right? Getting people in, retaining your employees, training those employees, that's a big challenge. This makes it a lot easier to get those employees productive and help them serve those businesses' customers. It just makes it a lot easier, more efficient, more seamless. And again, like we come from the SaaS world, so we love all the applications, but most people in the day-to-day life, they want as few of touch points and interactions as possible. Just make it easy, right? Because like I said, you may have a new employee, you may be expanding your operation. How quickly can you get people familiar? And the fewer tools and the fewer interfaces you've got to go through, the better it's going to be for the employee. And we've got a philosophy at RingCentral, like if you take care of your employees will take care of your customers. And by definition, agents are their job is to take care of customers, all the live long day. So we think those integrations are really, really helpful. I think also, especially for CMOs that have partnerships with Salesforce, you're going to see collaboration just between the go-to-market teams of how we problem solve together. So you kind of do the integration to serve the agent and the customers, but ultimately, when you have a partnership that is built on value to the customer, there's interest in both of the go-to-market teams to make sure those customers are taken care of and that they're getting the most out of both investments overall.
So I'm just a little curious about this. When you have these kind of integrations, does accessibility to data and um, breakdown of data silos also become an advantage there?
Absolutely, absolutely, right? Because when you have the native integration, essentially there's no delay, right? It's built into the interface for the agent, and it democratizes that data. And the thing is, one of our core tenets at RingCentral is to be an open platform. We integrate with many CRMs. The Salesforce one is one of the most prominent, but HubSpot in the US, especially given serving small and medium businesses, and literally tens of other CRMs that sometimes are vertical focused, could be for dental offices or car dealers, those types of things. We integrate across the board. We also integrate with productivity tools like Google and Microsoft, and sometimes companies you would consider as even competitors, because that's good for our customers. It helps them, it helps their people have a simpler workflow, and it serves up that data no matter where it is. You can now pull that data into the conversation for humans to serve those people, but also AI. Look, what is AI, right? Like, yeah, you're gathering, you're taking a whole bunch of data, you're filtering it, and you're trying to get an insight. You're trying to get a valuable action out of it. That's ultimately what we're trying to do. What gives you the most insight and value? Data. Like, how much data can we get about that customer? How much can we see? And then what actions can we take on that data on behalf of that customer? And like I said, you've got kind of all flavors of that, right? You can respond via AI, via any mode now, including voice, right? Voice agents can talk to customers and in what I call like the ultimate easy user experience, right? Like companies like Apple have become world famous for this great user interface and all of that. But like, what's the user interface we like as humans? We like talking to people, right? We don't, in general, we fill out forms and we do chats and all of that stuff because we've been trained that you can't get to a person that can solve your problem unless you go through this filtration process. Well, AI can solve that, right? Because now I've got data, I've got access to data all over the place, right? So it's in my CRM, it's in my RingCentral system, it's in my productivity suites, it may be in my contracts database, it can be anywhere. A human's going to have a tough time knowing all of that all at once and being able to pull it, regardless of how good our integration is or how native it is. But AI can do that, and it can do that for the customer directly in a voice conversation, again, like using our AR receptionists or integrated agents or AI agents of various flavors. But it can also assist human beings when they're talking to a customer, and it can go beyond just a classic agent, which you're thinking about, like when you're talking about a contact center agent in the native Salesforce integration. It could be the front desk of your doctor's office. It could be a sales clerk at a retail store that can have access to customer data based on how they interact, whether it's coming in on a text message or or a voice call or any other mode of communication. Being able to pull that together is going to make those interactions better, more efficient. I think it's going to make it a lot easier. It's going to be more natural because we can just speak either to the AI agent or to the person that's assisted, and I get my problem or my opportunity solved faster. And so we think it'll end up making customers happier with the interaction. I know there's some fear about AI and all that. Like it is really serving up. It is really, opening up different UIs and different interfaces and access to data in a curated way versus like, here's all the stuff, you go try to find it. It's going to be really cool.
All right. We could also touch upon the cloud here. It'll be used extensively for, especially if it's a SaaS product, and so the cloud will also add advantages to existing CRM functionalities. Maybe something you want to add there?
Yeah, I don't know about new. I think when you think about the integrations, like if you have an open platform, if you're as open as possible, by definition, like you're going to have APIs that are going to integrate with multiple SaaS companies. And, when you think about, the cloud, it's really many clouds, right? There's some very large hyperscalers like, Google and AWS and Microsoft, which RingCentral also has partnerships with and deep integrations. And then we can, again, use that data and serve that up, whether it's the integration to make it easier for people to work in multiple systems or work in one system and still use the functionality of other SaaS applications. So I think as far as the cloud, the other opportunity again is the data layer, right? Once again, it's multiple clouds, so you're going to have to integrate with multiple SaaS players to access that, right? The SaaS is the application on the top of the base cloud. The data is residing in the cloud somewhere, but like getting the integration and then serving that up where it's valuable, I think is the trick. And I think that's where, RingCentral being open and RingCentral, kind of my opening, I talked about one of the reasons I was excited about the role is making this practical for businesses, right? Because you can go, look, hey, it's all in the cloud. That's great. Like, how do I get to it? How do I use it? How do I use that to serve my customers? How do I use that to make my business more efficient? How do I use that to grow my business with data and insights and outreaches, right? Like that's really the trick is there's a lot of cool stuff, but does it add value to businesses and how they serve their customers, how they grow their business, how they grow their profits?
Yeah, and that should also make the foundation for an omni-channel experience that your
Yeah.
customers will demand.
Yeah, absolutely. I referenced it a little earlier, right? I mean, RingCentral believes in, every mode of communication, right? And any way that people communicate using technology from voice, text, social, media channels, whether they come in the front door of a storefront or they call a multi-thousand agent contact center. RingCentral has a way to connect those businesses with their customers, and really, it is any mode those customers want to connect with those businesses. And I think what we've seen certainly over the last few years, the trend has been more and more omni-channel, more and more social media, social interactions, more digital, more texting type of things. I'm not a technologist, right? I come from the go-to-market side, but I can tell you because of AI, you're going to see voice accelerate as a preferred method. It's the preferred method. Like voice communication hasn't ever gone down, by the way. It's grown slower than social. It's grown slower than texting and those types of things. But again, like I think it's a lot of people's natural preferred UI. And we just have this opportunity with AI agents like our AI receptionist and the agents that we're coming out with and others in the market are coming out with that's just going to make that experience so easy. It's going to, like, people do the easiest thing. they don't necessarily do the thing they want to do. They do the easiest thing. So if voice is the easiest thing, i.e., I can just say what I want, and I've got an LLM that translates that, and that agent is hooked up to my CRM, kind of like where we started this conversation, and it's hooked up to my productivity suite and my contracts tool, and my service tool, and my RingCentral contact center applications, and all of that stuff. Like, I'm able to pull that all together and then conversationally just explain it to the customer. Like, that's pretty cool. And it helps with on the go if I'm driving, riding, whatever. Like, there's a lot of cool applications there. So we'll see how that turns out. But that's my prediction, is that we're able to like make more and more of these things um, easier for customers, like just through that voice UI. But we are expanding across all of the modes.
One last observation: if CMOs use this kind of a cross-channel integration, which includes contact center functionalities, wisely, it's of course going to be a huge advantage. What do you think the CMOs should be prepared with if they were to leverage all this data, all this integration to their benefit? A good, clean, structured data is going to be one of the requirements. What else?
Yeah, look, I think that helps with the interface, right? You're going to need, it's not again a technology term, but you're just going to need a nice UI and a wrapper around that. And again, we've kind of thought about this as, it starts with reports and then maybe automated dashboards and like screen pop, stuff like that. But again, like, think about AI on top of this. AI can actually serve this up in the mode that the customer wants to transact in. So if that customer calls, AI can actually now, because that data is clean and indexed properly, now pull from it and actually add value. So I think the real thing that I would encourage from a CMO perspective, given some of the things they're trying to do on brand, demand gen, all of those things, is think about what's the best experience for the customer or the prospective customer in consuming the data. How do you make that relevant to them in the mode that they prefer? So that's where AI, I think, can really help out, because like I know things are changing, like we're doing things more on social, but email is still a huge channel for marketers, and the open rates are really, really small. So I think there's a lot more interactive ways we can be dynamic with that data.
Right. And that brings us to the end.
Cool.
And we have to thank you for your time and the effort you went to explain everything to us, because I'm also not a technologist, so I wouldn't have been able to ask you any questions about technology.
I would catch myself like, oh, they'll talk in acronyms, like all the stuff we talk about all the time. Like, I work at such I'm so fortunate to work at RingCentral with so many brilliant technology people. I feel very fortunate to be learning from them at this time, and then bringing what I do to the table in that voice of the customer
Yes.
on how we can actually unlock these benefits for our customers. So thanks for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
It was a pleasure. Technologists can only enable the strategies which you are going to think about. So if it's not 50-50, it's more to the size of a CX expert than to the technologist, because they are not the marketeers out there. But
There you
yes,
go.
thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for being with us. Please do follow us on social media for regular updates and new content.